श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च. So I will speak in Angla Bhasha because
So you want to become Vidwan?
yes, because he said that Vidwan people speak.
So you are already Vidwan, sir.
Following his footsteps. So I am not going to read my paper, and I will speak actually things which are a little different than what is written there. And
you may keep the mic a bit nearer.
Okay.
It won't be recorded otherwise.
So my topic is Prīti as the fifth Puruṣārtha. And for this, the first thing which I want to speak on is the pramana. As yesterday Srinidhi said that every sampradaya has got some speciality. And so in our sampradaya, Srimad Bhagavatam is considered as the supreme pramana. It's called Pramana Shiromani, and there are reasons for that. So Sri Jiva Goswami in his Sandarbhas, which was originally written by Sri Gopal Bhatt Goswami ji, and he elaborated on that. These are 6 books which are like the foundation of our sampradaya. So in the first part, in Tattva Sandarbha, he does an analysis of what is pramana. So he naturally begins that all these prataksha etc. cannot be pramana because of the purush doshas. And then he says Veda is aprakrita vachana, so sarva laukik, sarva dhar, sarva ashray vastu विषय ततएव प्रमाणम, वही प्रमाण है. लेकिन फिर वो कहते हैं कि वेद जिस प्रकार से अभी उपलब्ध है उससे स्पष्ट करना, sorry, I started speaking in Hindi, that the Veda, the way it is available now, it is difficult to figure out exactly, very clearly, that what is the prayojana and what is the abhidheya or vidheya. What is the process to realize the ultimate goal, ultimate reality, and what is it? And therefore different scholars, different sages, different rishis have given different opinions. So then he says that let's take help from Purana and Itihasa. So Itihas Puranam cha Pancham Veda Uchyate. That this is also equal to Veda, although it does not have this information in it. And then he refers to Srimad Bhagavatam. So in the 4th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, first book, there is this story about Vyasa, that how Vyasa, he saw that people in Kali Yuga are Durmedha, so Durmedhan Janan Viksha, and for their help he divided one Veda into 4 parts, and he taught it to 4 of his disciples, Pela, etc. And then he also wrote Bharata, Stri Vaishya Dujbandhunam Traina Sutri Gochara Karma Shreyasi Mudhanam Shreya Evam Bhavedihe Iti Bharatam Akyanam Kripya Munina Kritam. So for the compassion on people who do not have the adhikar for the Veda study, he wrote Mahabharata, and Mahabharata has whatever is there in the Veda that has been put in the form of stories and explanations. But then it says that still he was not satisfied in his heart. So I have these 2 verses here, that seeing that women, Sudras and the unqualified among the twice born classes were prevented even from hearing the Vedas, the great sage Vyasa, moved by compassion, compiled the great historical narration called the Mahabharata, so that those who were unaware of how to act for ultimate good might also attain auspiciousness. O Dvijas, this is Sut Goswami speaking to the Saunaka Rishi and company. Although Sri Vyasa was always engaged in this way, endeavoring even with the entirety of the self for the welfare of all living beings, his heart was still not satisfied. So he felt some kind of lacuna in his heart that my job is yet not complete, I have not done, something is missing. And then he deliberates on it as the story goes. And then Sri Narada Rishi appears in his ashram and they talk, and he asks him that why I am not feeling satisfied. So Sri Narada gives a long discourse to him, and this is 2 verses I cite here, that Bhavatanudit Prayam, that the immaculate glories of Bhagavan have been virtually unmentioned by you. And I consider as deficient any philosophy by which he derives no pleasure. So manne tad darshanam khilam. And then he says that yatha dharmadayascha munivarya prakirtita na tatha vasudevasya mahimahi varnita. So best of sages, you have not elaborated the glories of the Supreme Personal Absolute Vasudeva to the same extent as you have repeatedly described the 4 human goals beginning with dharma. So means up to moksha, you have all the 4 Puruṣārthas you have very elaborately described in Mahabharata, in the Puranas. Vedanta Sutras were also written. But you have not glorified the Supreme Person in very clear terminology so that people can understand that actually the source of this universe is Bhagavan and not some impersonal thing. So therefore, he speaks more verses, but one of the statement is that he gives a solution to his dissatisfaction, and he basically orders him to write one more book. So he says, therefore, O greatly fortunate Vyasa, since you are of infallible vision, pure in glory, established in truth, and of firm vows, you should continuously recollect through transcognitive awareness, that is samadhi, the divine acts of Bhagavan, who performs extraordinary feats, doing so for the liberation of all living beings for material bondage. So, in this sloka, and although in the translation I have said for all liberation, but actually the word he uses that Urukarmasya akhil bandha muktaye. That akhil bandha muktaye, free from all bandhas, which means free from the bandha of the mukti also. Means you have to actually go. That is also bandhan, because bandhan means that you have something for your own self. And that will be explained that why Prīti is the 5th Puruṣārtha, because in Prīti only, and it was also explained in Pushti Bhakti, that you do not have anything for yourself. You don't even want moksha, because Swarga Purga Apitulyartha Darshina, that a Vaishnava sees even this Apurga, Narka, Swarga equal. So they are not interested. So this is what he says, Akhil Bandha Muktaye. And then Vyasa, taking his instruction, in which he says that Samadhina Anusmara, that you should go into Samadhi state and realize. So this is a book which he actually wrote with his own direct experience. Bhakti Yogena Mansi Samyak Pranihite Male Apashyat Purusham Purnam Mayam Chadata Apashrayan Ya Sammohito Jiyo Atmanam Trigunatmakam Paropi Manutayanartham Tatkritam Chabipandit. So this beautiful Bhagavata is indeed celebrated as. So then he composed. So Sri Vyas, he sat in Samadhi, and then he realized the truth. And what he saw is Purna Purusha, he saw his Maya, and he saw the Jivas. So basically he saw 3 things. That he saw the complete person, means along with his associates, and he saw the Bahiranga Shakti. So this is one of the concepts we have, that Bhagavan has 3 types of Shaktis, energies, potencies, Antaranga, Bahiranga, and Tatastha. So Jivas are the Tatastha Shaktis. This Jagat is made of Maya, which is Bahiranga Shakti, and his Vaikuntha Jagat is Antaranga Shakti. So he saw all this, and then he saw the solution to it. Anartha upsamam sakshat bhakti yogam adhokshaje. So he saw that it is only bhakti yoga that which can give solace to the jivas. And lokasya janato vidvans chakre satvat samhita. So then he composed this. And after compiling this, he Yasam Vaishruya Manayam Krishna Param Puruse Bhakti Rutpadyate Punsham Shoka Moha Bhayapeha. And then he taught it to his own son. So Savai Nivritta Nirta Sarvat Rapekshako Muni Kashyava Brihita Metam Atma Ramasam Abhishata. This question was asked that why is that Shukdev, who was so renounced, he was completely steeped that he did not undergo any study, Amanupetam Apeta Krityam, and even Vyasdev is calling him Putreti Tanmeta. So he did not come back. So why is that he came and studied this? And this is where the reply, what happened to Madhusudan. Atma Ramasya Munyo Nirgranthe Purukrame Kurvanti Ahat Kim Bhakti Mittam Bhuta Gunohati. So even the Atma Ramas, which Shukdev was, and he was Nirgrantha, because he was beyond Grantha, or I would say that there are scholars who say that Guru Mithya, Shastra Mithya, Shastram Jannam, Jnanam Mithya. So they are the Nirgranthas. Because Vaishnavas, we are not really Nirgranthas. For us, Bhagavad Katha is always Pibat Bhagavatam Rasam Alayam. So the really Nirgranthas are these people. So they also get attracted to. So that means this is already beyond moksha. The person was already situated in moksha and Grihita Cheta Rajarse. Still he was attracted. So this shows two things. That one thing is this is beyond moksha, and obviously it is Nistragunya. This is beyond Triguna. Because Shukdev was not interested in anything which is related with the gunas. So that shows the super transcendental nature of Srimad Bhagavatam and its greatness as Vedas. So in Bhagavatam itself, in the very beginning it is said that Yasvanu Bhavam Akhil Suti Saramekam Adhyatma Deepam Atititirshatavam. So it is called Shruti Sara. And Sarvedant Saram hi Sri Bhagavatam Ishyate Tadrasamritriptasya Nanyat Syadarati Kochit. So therefore in Bhagavatam there are many statements like that Srimad Bhagavatam is the essence of the Vedas, and it is the Sar, it is the ultimate. So therefore Sri Jiva Goswami, he says that if we want to know what is the truth, what is the Tattva, what is the reality, what is described in the Vedas and Upanishads, then we should take recourse to Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is his first very strong proposition. And then our whole Sampradaya is based on this principle, that all the principles are then ultimately derived from Srimad Bhagavatam. So he does not say that other books are not pramanas. He accepts the Prasthanatrayi, but he says that to really understand the meaning of Prasthanatrayi, you need this, what Sri Vallabhacharya calls the Praman, Chatushtaya. And not only that he says this, but he starts with this only. So in his Sandarbhas, he actually analyzes Bhagavatam. Therefore, the original name is Bhagavat Sandarbha. And then for what he gives the conclusion from that, then he may quote Upanishads or he may quote other Puranas. And that he himself says that I am citing this not to prove what Bhagavatam says is right, because I have already accepted as Praman Shiromani, but to show that this is the thing which is also given in other literature. And it's not, but here it is teaching something in a more rasika manner and also more explicit manner. So therefore he says that this beautiful Bhagavata is indeed celebrated as the essence of all Vedanta, Sarv Vedanta Saram. One who is enraptured by the immortal nectar of its aesthetic relish will not experience attraction for any other scripture. Nanyat syad rati kvachit. So this is the first point which I wanted to make, because obviously this idea of Puruṣārtha then comes from Bhagavatam. Because in Bhagavatam repeatedly the concept of moksha is belittled, and very strongly the principle of bhakti, which culminates in Prīti, is established, and the greatest embodiment of this Prīti are the gopis. So there are 4 Puruṣārthas, we all know that, and out of that moksha is considered as actually the ultimate, because it is only ichha, itar ichha anadhin ichha vishyatvam, others do not fit that. So this is the ultimate Puruṣārtha. There are different views about moksha. Some say it is Swarga, Purmimamsakas, their Swarga is moksha. We discussed about Vaisheshika, for them it is Dukkha Bhav. Some say Atma Sakshatkar, which is Brahman. Some say it brings an end to the cycle of birth and death. So Sri Jiva Goswami discusses all these things in Prīti Sandarbha. Then he also talks about 5 types of mokshas which are described in Bhagavatam: Sayujya, Salokya, Sarshti, Sarupya and Samipya. And I think our understanding is a little different than what others have. So Sayujya is becoming or realizing from the Advaita point of view as one with Brahman. So oneness is not possible. 2 things can never become one. Even logically it is not possible. But it is just that one identifies with it. So Jiva Goswami, he gives the direct meaning also to these statements, Am Brahmasmi and Tattvamasi, etc. He also gives the meaning from the Prīti point of view. That there is also identification in love. Like we hear these statements, especially in the movies, that we are 2 bodies, 1 heart. So he says this Tattvamasi statement actually is talking about that oneness in love and not oneness in Tattva. Because that, yeah. So, but he says that that one is also possible. Because in Bhagavatam, in the very beginning it says, Vadanti tat tattvadas tattvam is jnanam advayam, brahmeti paramatmeti, bhagavaniti shabdate. So he actually wrote books to explain what is Paramatma. Paramatma has a very specific meaning, and Bhagavan has a very specific meaning, and we have very specific meaning for Brahman. So therefore he wrote Bhagavad Sandarbha to explain what is Bhagavan. He wrote Paramatma Sandarbha to explain what is Paramatma. Brahma Sandarbha he does not write. He says no need. He says, what can you write about it? There's not much to write. He says just a glow of Bhagavan, which is, formless. That's all it is. So therefore he says that those people who do not have love for Bhagavan, then Bhagavan appears to them only like a glow. So just like if you are traveling in a plane, and especially if you are crossing, say, Atlantic Ocean, so you look down, the ocean looks like just one big piece. So it is seeing the reality from too far away. And far away means that there is no bhakti, because intimacy comes only by bhakti. So when there is distance like this, which they call even the Jagat as mithya, so where is the question of bhakti for them? They don't even accept that we are two. So for them truth appears, because Krishna himself says, Ye yatha mam prapadyante, tams tathai bhajamyam. So you want this? I come like this, I have no problem. I have got all things in my bag, so I can bring them out. So it appears to them in this way. So he does not decry that Brahman does not exist, or he does not try to refute everywhere that Brahman realization is not possible. He accepts it. But he says this is not the ultimate thing. There is something which is much higher than. And he says this is also a sort of cheating. And Because why is it called cheating? That we live in this universe and we are enjoying all the facilities which Bhagavan has given, and then we say there is no Bhagavan.
Misleading.
So there was actually a story I read that during COVID, there was a man who fell sick and he was admitted in the hospital. So he was almost dying, so they put him on the ventilator. And then after 4 days, he was okay, so he was removed from the ventilator. And then the doctor gave him a bill. So bill, of course, was few lakh rupees. So it was heavy bill. So when he saw the bill, he started crying. So the doctor felt compassionate on him. He says, don't worry, if you don't have money, you can pay in installments. So he says, no, I have money, I will pay you. I have absolutely no problem for paying the money. But then he said, why are you crying then? He says, I'm crying that how much do I owe to Bhagavan? That just for 4 days, the bill has come so much. And I'm breathing air 24 hours, and I've never paid him. So this is why Bhagavatam says, Dharma projita kaitu atra paramo nirmat saranam satam. So this is the kait of dharma. So in the language of Bhagavatam, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, they are all kaitava. And therefore the purpose of every jiva is only to have prema for Bhagavan. Because these other things he is already giving, why ask for it? So therefore even Sridhar Swami says that projita kaitava, he says prasabdena moksha abhisandhirapi nirasta. That even abhisandhi, even desire for moksha is denied here in Bhagavatam. So therefore Bhagavatam speaks of Pancham Puruṣārtha. So this is the Sayujya, and this Sayujya he also defines 2 types, Sayujya, Brahm Sayujya, and Bhagavad Sayujya is also there, where there are descriptions of Ahingra Upasana, where you identify with Bhagavan. So both are not for Vaishnavas for sure. Then Salokya means living on the same planet as Bhagavan, which means that you just be part of the planet, you don't have much to do with him. So there is no Prīti here, just Samanya Bhakti. It's like you live in a kingdom, there is a king, and then normal people are living, once in a while they see him also when he comes out on a savari, on his elephant. But other times they are doing their own things, so neither the king is concerned about them, and nor they are concerned. So that is Salokya. Then Sarshti, to have opulence like Bhagavan, Shaktis like him. Of course you can never have all the Shaktis, but some of them, which is there in the Vedanta Sutra also. Then Sarupya, have a form like him. So this will obviously include the previous 2. And then Samipya. So there is a gradation in the moksha also. We start from Sayujya, and Samipya is the best. So Samipya is for those who are associates of Bhagavan. They are with him, so obviously they are more intimate. So these are the 5 types of moksha which he analyzes. And then Bhagavata rejects all of them, including Samipya. Because there also you have something for yourself. So the way bhakti has been defined by Rupa Goswami in Bhakti-rasamrita Sindhu, he says that Anyabhilashita Sunyam Gyan Karmadhyanavritam Anukullena Krishnanushilanam Bhakti Uttama. So there are various types of bhakti, but the highest bhakti, Uttama bhakti, which is called Prīti or Prema, is devoid of any other abhilasha, anything up to moksha. And Gyan Karmadhya Anavritam. So it should also not be covered. He does not deny Gyan and Karma, but it should not be covered. Means it should not be motivated by that. But because we are living in the world, in the society, so you may be participating in that. But it's not that this is our intention or we are dependent on them. So our path of Gaudiya Vaishnavism is very clear on this, and I think Pushti Marga also like that we don't mix karma with bhakti. It is not that bhakti is assisted by karma. I think karma samuchaya, bhakti of Sri Ramanujacharya and Sri Madhvacharya also, something similar. Yeah. So here,
Initial stage.
yeah, but here there is an injunction to give up completely. Tavat karmani kurvita na nirvidyeta yavata mat katha shravanadava shraddhayavan na jayate. Sri Bhagavan himself says, and he says this, that yogastraya mayo prokta nirnam shreya vidhitsaye jnanam karuncha bhaktischa na shreyon vidyate kvachit. So he says that I have made three paths for shreyas. So bhakti is a path on its own. It is very strongly propounded in Bhagavatam and by our acharyas that bhakti does not depend on anything. In fact, it is other way around, that if you want to get success in karma, you have to have bhakti. Therefore, when Bali Maharaj was performing yajna and Vamana Dev went there and the yajna obstacle came, then everything was over. Then he asked Sukracharya that complete the yajna. So he just chanted the name of Bhagavan.
This is strange, but renunciation of karma is not accepted. But in Gaudiya,
It is accepted. Yeah. Means, so therefore complete service to Bhagavan. And this question which you are asking him also, and this bubhuksha question. So this is different. Bhagavan has got two types of hats, you can say. One is his official hat and one is his unofficial hat. So when he is official, then is Vedhi Bhakti. You have to follow all the rules and regulations. Like you think of some army general, army chief. So when he goes out, then he is dressed up. He is going to office. So he has got all his paraphernalia with him. And everybody salutes him, he is the boss. And everybody has to follow the protocol. But the same person, when he comes home, he has his wife, he has kids who is jumping on him, pulling his mustache. No problem. So that is his unofficial. So Krishna in Vraj is not God. He's just a cowherd boy. He is actually very afraid of being recognized as God. So whenever he did something, so whenever he did something which was superhuman, then he will get worried that these people should not start worshipping me. After lifting Govardhan, after Nanda Maharaj was abducted by the servants of Varuna, then he said that I am Gopa, I am one among you. Nothing more than that. Because he wants that loving relationship. So Prīti means intimacy and mamatva. As they were saying that one is that I belong to you, and as in Pushti Bhakti, it is that you belong to me, you are mine, and you are dependent on me. If I don't give you food, then you will starve. As that devotee who complained to Mahaprabhu that this guy did not give me the bhoga. So this is the meaning of yayatha, this is the extent up to he goes, yayatha mam prapadyante tam stathe. And this is the high.
These kind of words are there in Madhva Sampradāya. Dasas do the worship like this, and murtis get cry.
Yes.
They cry because he didn't come to perform a nevedya for me.
Right.
But this is the initial stage of. Initial stage of.
No, this is here it is the ultimate.
That's what. Yeah. This reverse.
This is completely opposite. Because Prīti is the Prayojana. And in Prīti, there is no Aishwarya. Because if there is a Aishwarya, if the chief of army comes home and he acts like chief of army, then everybody will get scared. And the wife will say that, why did you marry me? So you are my husband, treat me like your wife. The children will also, they may be scared of him, but there is not going to be much fun in that. So Krishna, he says that my official form is okay, that Narayana, and I'm fine with that. But he has kept one form in which he does not want himself to be known as God. It is not that he is not. He is. But this is where he expresses his human side. So therefore we say that he has got two hats. One is the Aishwarya hat, another is the Madhurya hat. So Aishwarya hat means that he is Bhagwan and others are Bhaktas. And this Madhurya hat means he is Narvat Leela. Therefore, As a child, he becomes hungry and he's dependent. That's why he got angry at his own mother. He says, how dare I was drinking your milk and you ran to protect this milk? We got plenty of cows. So, what's your problem? Of course, she had her own logic. So, she was working on, that was also her Prīti. Because she wants to protect the milk which is meant for him. And if it is gone, then okay, you have to get more milk and heat it up. But I want to give this milk. So, when he got angry, he was not acting. We call it play. Like one of the, I think, very important principle of Pushti Marg is that Leelarth Srishti. And everything, I think, hinges on that very important principle. I learned it from Maitri Goswamiji. So it's a very beautiful principle, and you can explain things once you know. So this Leela is also not something like when you say play, then we get the idea that there is an actor on the stage and he actually knows. No, this is a play in which you do not know the, what you call, your lines or what will happen next. You don't know the script. It is a play without script.
Bhagavan doesn't know?
No. He is not Sarvagya there.
No, the second form, that is.
I think, sorry to interject, but also another beautiful Pushti Margya principle is that the Brahman is Viruddha Dharmashraya. So he is the abode of contradictory qualities.
This Jiva Goswami.
That is completely different. That is Anurbraha Pusha Stula Guna Nirgunamana. Those kind of
Srinideji, you have.
Those kind of Viruddha.
No, this is different. That is not
different.
Okay.
That's not at all.
If I am arguing that there is Ajnana, you cannot accept that.
So,
in the sense, the Viruddha Guna Samavesha, you cannot conclude with that statement.
So here, because by his Maya, that is his Antaranga Shakti, his Leela Shakti, actually just like here, in the material world, we are under the influence of Maya. Now Krishna himself says that Devi hi esa gunmayi mam maya duratya. So he has created Maya, he has put us into Maya. And then he says, Mamaiva prapadyante. How is it possible? So you create the problem, then you say surrender to us. So that's not. So just as we are under the influence of Maya here, in Braj at least, everybody is under the influence of Yoga Maya. This is Mahamaya. And even Krishna is under the influence of Yoga Maya. So she arranges everything for his pleasure. Because if he becomes Sarvagya, then he is not going to enjoy it. Then he will say, well, I'm not hungry. How can I be hungry? As Brahm Kshatram cha Ubhay.
How can you say he cannot enjoy? Because he is Sarvashakta. He can enjoy even in the contradiction.
No, but that's not the way to enjoy. The way to enjoy is just like when you are in love with somebody. At that time, if you become little, if you have your wife, for example, who is Prime Minister of India, and if you are always aware of that, you are not going to treat her like your wife. So this Aishwarya...
No, it's my point of, it's because I am Jiva, I have some limitations with me. Because of those problems may arise.
Yeah, but there, it is only the Leela Shakti which works. It is the Antaranga Shakti which takes care of all these things.
No, there are some contradiction in Madhva also. For that we have accepted the concept of Vishesha. My question is there is any ekavakyata sampadhanartham kimupi angikritam va iti?
Yeah, angikritam, but tattu achintya bheda bheda. Tadeva ekavakyata moolam. So therefore, this Prīti is what Krishna loves more than anything. Aham bhakta paradhino. That he becomes subservient to his devotee only because of love. And this is what he expressed here. And it is only Prīti which can control him. Although he is Sarveshwara, but in Vraja he is not Sarveshwara. He is under the influence of love of his devotees. And he is dependent on them. Once in a while he shows, that is because Bhagavatam has to be written like this. Otherwise, as we know, Mahatma Gyan Purvastu, that if this Mahatma Gyan is not shown to us, then it will become also material. So that is for us to show that we should always be aware of this, that Krishna is ultimately, he is Bhagavan. But when he is doing his Leela, in that he does not have the ahanta of that. His own ahanta is that he is a Gopa Balaka. When he goes to Mathura, then his ahanta changes. And then some Aishwarya comes. So therefore, the parents do not have the same amount of love as Nanda and Yashoda. This is the explanation which our Acharyas give, that Krishna, he was born to Devaki and Vasudeva, but immediately he said, take me there. He wanted to show that the real Sambandha is not the Sambandha by birth or by blood relationship, but Prem Sambandha is the highest Sambandha. So therefore, we have Bhakti, which is Kamanuga and Sambandhanuga, or Kamatmika and Sambandhatmika. So this Kama of course means Prema here. So that is the ultimate relationship. And it is that which enthralls him. And he derives maximum pleasure from that. Because now he can do anything. You see, when he is in Dwarka or he is in Vaikuntha, then he also has a protocol to follow. It's the same thing. If you are a very big boss in your company, then you have to follow certain protocol, but after some time you get bored with it. You want to relax. You want to drop your dress and you want to just run around freely. So this is what God himself is doing. Why we have this tendency? Because it is also there in him. Otherwise we are denying this to him. So therefore he steals. Now in Dwarka he cannot do that. In Vaikuntha he cannot do that. But here he does this. But this stealing, because it is not motivated by anything, it is all his play out of love. It gives pleasure to him and it gives pleasure to the gopis also. So this is the Leela which goes on here.
So the interesting fact I remembered, when in Udupi, when we also do these same sevas as Vallabha in Sampradayas they do. So when they do the Totila, means cradle, yes, at the 8:30 p.m. in the night they do this cradle seva. So after a lot of melodious songs I will put. So after he sleeps, immediately they do Mangalarti and all kind of vadyas will be performed. I was thinking, if we are doing this, if starting again loudly we are doing this, can he not? So that kind I thought, so in Madhva we do this seva, but yes, immediate after we also should be realized that we are not making him sleep, because we cannot make him sleep because he is always, that's all.
So that is the difference here. In Braja they will not do that. They will say, Lala is sleeping now. Don't disturb. No noise. In fact, they even put food for at night. He may get up and he may feel hungry.
Therefore, M.S. Subbalakshmi sang Jo Achyutananda with Mridanga Mang. That won't happen. Sure.
So therefore, all these slokas, I will not go through them because I want to save time, I think. I want to make the point.
The song we sang, some sleeping song.
Yeah, Jo
Jo Achyutananda, Jo Mukunda.
Immediately after we do Chanda and all.
So then after all this analysis, then he establishes that why Prīti is the Puruṣārtha. And basically there are two processes he follows. One is that what is actually the root cause of suffering. Because ultimately, although we say that we want happiness, but we also don't want dukkha. So he says that the root cause of suffering is Bhagavad Vaimukhya. That the jiva has turned away from Bhagavan. And that is the root cause of all its problems. So he elaborates on this, and I think this is enough. And therefore the solution is Samukhya. So turning our awareness towards Bhagavan. Therefore the process is only bhakti and not jnana and not karma, because they don't turn your awareness towards Bhagavan. It's only the bhakti which turns our awareness towards Bhagavan. So this is one concept. And the highest turning of awareness is Prīti. Because mad guna shruti matrena mai sarva guhashavi manogati ravichinna. So that happens in Prīti. Even in material Prīti, you have seen if you are in love with somebody, then your mind is all the time. You may be doing anything, but your mind is focused on that person. So that is the highest samukhya. So that is one way. And then the other he does more like in general sense, that what people want. So it starts, well, everybody wants happiness. You don't need any education for that. You don't need to go to school for that. So then he says that this desire for happiness obviously is not that you want something else from it. And therefore this is the Puruṣārtha. And then he goes into various types of sukhas and he quotes Anandavalli. Then he comes to the point of rasa vaisa, which he was talking about rasa. So therefore he says that this is actually the ultimate.
Even we also, Madhas also accept the Prīti as the ultimate. But we have
Categorized it. There are ekanta bhaktas. Ekantanam na kasyachit arthe narayane devah sarvamanyat tadarthakam.
I think also all Vaishnavas accept Prīti.
Yeah, but Prīti as a Parama Puruṣārtha, how can you justify? Fifth Puruṣārtha.
Because it is beyond moksha. Here,
Okay, but if you call it Puruṣārtha, then it is underlying the concept that it is arthyate, khalu.
but it is arthya for him. That is the beauty of Prīti. You see, kama is self-centered and Prīti is Bhagavad-centered. So you cannot take away the qualities of your mind. Our mind has the capacity to know, it has the capacity to desire. We have karma shakti, ichha shakti, jnana shakti. So they all have to be turned towards him. So artha is there, arthyate, ishyate, prarthate is there, but for what? For his sake.
Okay.
So that is the prema dvaita.
Puruṣārtha.
So therefore this is Puruṣārtha for us because we are still hanging here.
So then what is the difference between kama and Prīti?
Kama is self-centered. Kama is for me.
That is why Shri Vaishnava tradition. Kamadi dosha rahitan tvadananya kama.
Yeah.
Now in Madhava tradition, Kama is ultimate Puruṣārtha. We include this.
So we also use the word kama, and then there is a statement that kama eva goparamana, prema eva goparamana, kama iti abhidha agama. That their prema itself is called kama. So probably your word kama is in the same sense.
Yeah.
So that's why there is kamatmika bhakti.
Yeah, in Shanti Parva, there is a discussion between Arjuna and Nakula and Sahadeva, which Puruṣārtha is great. So Bhima says the Kama is great amongst the Puruṣārtha.
Yeah.
And he explains that why it
In
is.
the material world also, I mean, artha is for kama, people also follow dharma for kama, only ultimately swarga is for kama.
And there we say mokshecha api keshanchana ekanta bhaktanam nasti.
So that is the prema. Because that kama is, if it is centered around my physical body, that is the cause of bondage.
The only difference is we categorize it for ekanta bhaktas. So you are saying for everyone.
There are two types of bhaktas. Ekantinaha, paramekantinaha. Ekantinaha bhagavan eva tatra jneyah iti jnatva bhagavataha mama edat bhavatu iti ye vanchanti te ekantinaha. Bhagavat samipa bhagavantameva ye vanchanti te paramekantinaha.
So that is prema.
That's yeah. Like it's cited that Hanuman, he doesn't go to the moksha, he stays in here. So that is called ekanta bhakta.
So this is the basic concept of Pancham Puruṣārtha. And he goes on, then he explains on how bhakti or Prīti as a rasa, which he has spoken, and then Bhagavatam itself is the rasa.
Bhagavata rasam piba.
So pibata Bhagavatam rasamalayam, and tadrasamrityaptasya nanyo shadrati kochit. So swasuk nibrit cheta. So even Sukdeva was ultimately attracted by the Bhagavad rasa. That's what captivated his heart. So that is naturally beyond moksha. So this is the basically my talk in short.
Very good.
Has how they Vruddha Vaishnava as a for Ramanujacharya. Is there any mention of Madhvacharya in Chaitanya?
Jiva Goswami also calls Ramanujacharya and both Madhvacharya as Vruddha Vaishnava. Both of them.
Both of them.
In the very beginning. And he even names and some of the people, Punyaranya, I don't know who was Punyaranya. Some Punyaranya is one name. Madhvacharya and then Punyaranya.
So you also come to the Vruddha Goswami.
Even I am not Vruddha.
एक छोटी सी बात कहनी थी। दो एक वक्त प्रमाण चतुष्टय के संबंध में उल्लेख इस संगोष्ठी में हुआ था। हमारे यहाँ प्रस्थान चतुष्टय और प्रमाण चतुष्टय, प्रस्थान और प्रमाण एक हैं या अलग, ये एक चिंतन का विषय है और उससे क्या अभिप्राय है वो भी सोचना चाहिए। अलग मत विषय इस विषय में जो है वो मैं मुख रखना चाहता हूँ। तो ये एक भ्रांति हमारे यहाँ संप्रदाय में भी है और संप्रदायेतर विद्वानों भी, में भी यहाँ 4 प्रस्थान स्वीकार किए गए हैं या 4 प्रमाण स्वीकार किए गए हैं, पर वस्तुतः महाप्रभु का ऐसा अभिप्राय नहीं है। प्रमाणों की संख्या में अपने मत को बांध देना ऐसा आचार्य चरणों का अभिप्राय नहीं है। जैसे कि कल हमने देखा कि तत्वादीप निबंध के उपसंहार कारिका में अर्थोयमेव निखिलैरपि वेदवाक्यैः रामायणैः सहित भारत पंचरात्रैः अन्यैश्च शास्त्रवचनैः सह तत्वसूत्रैः निर्णीयते सहृदयम् हरिणा सदैव। इस तरह से आप उस प्रकरण का उपसंहार करते हैं। पर महाप्रभु ये तत्वार्थदीप निबंध आपका आद्य ग्रंथ माना जाता है, उसके उपक्रम में आपने इस बात को स्पष्ट किया है कि मैं ये जो भागवत तत्वार्थदीप निबंध की रचना कर रहा हूँ, जिसके 3 प्रकरण हैं, शास्त्रार्थ, सर्वनिर्णय और भागवतार्थ, और इन तीनों का जो विषय है वो ब्रह्मेति परमात्मेति भगवानेति शब्दते तृतीय तृतीयम वाच्यम क्रमेण वो मया ही। तो ये 3 प्रकरणों में उस तत्व के 3 पहलुओं को मैं यहाँ निरूपित करना चाहता हूँ, जिसमें कि शास्त्रार्थ जो प्रथम प्रकरण है वो गीतार्थ है, उसे समझना चाहिए। यानी गीता का प्रतिश्लोक व्याख्यान आपने न कर निबंध शैली में शास्त्रार्थ प्रकरण को ही गीता रूप में आपने निरूपित किया है। और जो सर्वनिर्णय प्रकरण है उसमें प्रमाण, प्रमेय, साधन और फल, इन 4 मुख्य विषयों को लेकर आपने उसका सांगोपांग निरूपण किया है। उसमें आप ये आज्ञा करते हैं उसके उपक्रम में कि वेदाः श्री कृष्ण वाक्यानि व्यास सूत्राणि चैव हि समाधि भाषा व्यासस्य प्रमाणं तच्चतुष्टयम्। वहां आप 2 बात स्पष्ट करते हैं कि जैसे हमको किसी विषय को समझना हो तो शास्त्र तो अथाह है, तो उस अथाह शास्त्र से हमें कोई एक बात का निश्चय करने के लिए प्रारंभिक अवस्था में इतनी बुद्धि प्रवृत्ता नहीं होती है। तो प्राथमिक सुगमता के लिए हमें कौन से शास्त्रों का आश्रय लेना चाहिए जिससे कि आपको शास्त्र का मूल अर्थ स्पष्ट हो जाए। उसके लिए जो प्रमाण व्यवस्था है वो 2 स्तर पर आपने बताई है, एक विविदिशा दशा में और एक विद्वत दशा में। तो विविदिशा दशा में आप ये आज्ञा करते हैं कि वेदाः श्री कृष्ण वाक्यानि व्यास सूत्राणि चैव हि समाधि भाषा व्यासस्य प्रमाणं तच्चतुष्टयम्। तो वेद का हमें निर्णय 2 मीमांसाओं में, कर्म मीमांसा और उत्तर मीमांसा में मिलता है। तो सूत्राणी से आपने वहां दोनों व्यास सूत्र और जैमिनी सूत्र दोनों का ग्रहण किया है। भगवद गीता तो स्वयं भगवान के स्वमुख से ही कहे गए, तो वो सभी शास्त्रों का निचोड़ है। और तद्विस्तारो भागवतम, गीता का विस्तार ही भागवत है। तो शास्त्र शास्त्र के जो क्रम का विचार किया जाए तो वेदार्थ में होने वाले संदेह का निराकरण हमें सूत्र में मिलता है। सूत्र में होने वाले संदेह का निराकरण गीता से होता है और सर्व संदेह वारक भागवत शास्त्र है। तो यहां पर ही आपने जैसे चकार से व्यास सूत्र के साथ साथ जैमिनी सूत्र का भी ग्रहण किया है। इसलिए प्रमाण चतुष्टय की बात तो आपके ही व्याख्यान से निराकृत हो जाती है कि यहाँ 4 न होकर 5 हो गए। सूत्र को यदि एक हम कक्षा मानते हैं तो 4 संख्या होती है, अन्यथा जैमिनी सूत्र को लेने पर 5 हो जाती है। दूसरी बात यह है कि एतत् चतुष्टयम एक वाक्यता पन्नम सत प्रमाजनकम, ऐसा आप इसका व्याख्यान करते हैं। यानी ये स्वतंत्र रूप में प्रमाण विविधता दशा में है, ऐसा इसका अभिप्राय नहीं है, पर इनकी एक वाक्यता से जो अर्थ हमें प्राप्त होता है उसे यहाँ आपको प्रमाण के रूप में समझना है। तो इनकी एक वाक्यता है वो यहाँ पर प्रमाण है। दूसरा ये है कि जब इस प्रक्रिया से तत्वबोध हो गया तो विद्वत दशा में फिर क्या स्थिति होगी या अन्य शास्त्रों की क्या गति, तो उसके संबंध में आपने ये आज्ञा करते हैं कि अथवा सर्वरूपत्वात् नाम लीला विभेदतः विरुद्धांश परित्यागात् प्रमाणम सर्वमेव ही। तो शास्त्र की संख्याओं को कोई सीमित करना या किसी शास्त्र को प्रमाण मानना, किसी को न मानना, ऐसा कोई आग्रह नहीं है। पर प्रारंभिक अवस्था में सुगमता के लिए ये व्यवस्था है और उस आधार पर आपका स्वयं का भी ऐसा आग्रह है और विशेष प्रीति भी है इन विषयों में, जो कि अभी हम सब लोगों ने संगोष्ठी में देखा कि भागवत का प्रमाण मूर्धन्य तो है ही, और सभी युगों के अंत में व्यास ने अंतिम शास्त्र का जो प्रणयन किया है वो श्री भागवत शास्त्र होने से व्यास का भी अभिप्राय और आशय उसी में अधिक है, तो उसकी सर्वसंदेहवारकता तो सभी को मान्य है। तो इसलिए आचार्य शरणों का भी अपना विशेष आग्रह और प्रेम श्रीमद् भागवत के ऊपर है, और भागवत इनसे अविरुद्ध जो भी अर्थ जहाँ कहीं से भी ग्रहित होता हो तो अविरोधेन उनका भी समादर किया जाता है। इसलिए वहाँ यद्वे किंचित मनोरवदत तद भेषजम, ऐसे जो वचन हैं उनकी व्यवस्था भी आपने प्रमाण प्रकरण में की है। तो इसी तरह आगम और रामायण भी अनेक प्रकार की रामायण है, वासिष्ठ रामायण आदि है, उनका भी किस तरह से हमें इसमें संयोजन करना, ये सब आपने वहाँ पर स्फुटतया प्रतिपादन किया है। तो ये एक बात आप संप्रदाय में तो हम लोग कहते रहते हैं, पर ऐसा अवसर कब मिलता है, कम मिलता है कि विद्वज्जनों के सामने भी, क्योंकि ये बहुत प्रचलित भ्रांत मान्यता है वल्लभ संप्रदाय के संबंध में कि आपने यहाँ 4 प्रमाण स्वीकार किए गए हैं, पर वो उसकी व्यवस्था को समझना और संदर्भ में उसे समझना आवश्यक है। ये बात थी, आगे जो करना।
आधे घंटे के ब्रेक के बाद आगे का सत्र हम प्रारंभ करेंगे। वक्तागण सभी भोजन हेतु नीचे आप लोग पधारें। श्रोता जो हैं वो सभी गोवर्धन रिट्रीट सेंटर के डाइनिंग हॉल में प्रसाद हेतु पधारें और शार्प 2 बजे हम सत्र प्रारंभ करेंगे।